drink, yeah, she finna go round. Get up, hit the ground. Eat her up, eat her up, eat her up. Eat her up, eat her up, eat her up. Eat her up, eat her up, eat her up. Eat her up, eat her up, eat her up. Oh, throwing plenty hundreds in the club, yeah. We don't give a oh, baddie shots, they finna blow up. Yeah, we have to drink, yeah, we finna go up. And the party looking for the J,
before we get into our discussion though, life is better with American Family Insurance because their home policies help protect your dreams. And they come with a peace of mind. Save up to 25% by bundling home, auto, and life. American Family Insurance. Get a quote from an agent simply by going to amfam.com. Also, behind every minority-owned and women-owned business is a dream. Sometimes growing that dream, it takes some extra funding. The Associated Bank Community Uplift Loan Program is here to turn your business dreams into reality. Apply online and get up to $50,000 in as little as one business day. With competitive rates and more accessible credit score requirements, they're making it even easier than ever to fuel your company's growth. Let them uplift your business with the support that it deserves. Go to associatedbank.com/uplift to learn more. Okay, so Ben and I were talking about this before the show today, and I do want to give a trigger warning to everybody. The Quiet on Set documentary, which is essentially a bombshell tell-all of the 90s and the early 2000s Nickelodeon days. And the reason why I say trigger warning, it's very disturbing, you guys. I am a kid of the 90s. Ben Jamin is a kid of the 90s. Like I said, Ben has not gotten a chance to watch the doc in its entirety. It's 4 episodes, so it's pretty long. Like, when I sat down to watch it, I was just gonna maybe watch an episode, but it pulls you in immediately. So I definitely suggest if you are gonna start it, make sure you have time to watch because you're probably gonna want to continue to watch. And each episode is nearly a full hour. I was disturbed, Ben, within the first 5 minutes because they kind of do a quick summary, a quick trailer, if you will, before it actually starts. And just to give you guys a hint of some of the things that you are going to see, you're going to see some foot fetish stuff. And let's just be very clear, everything I'm talking about does directly involve children. So that's part of what makes it very disturbing and very, very, very difficult to watch. Some foot fetish stuff. You're going to see some hot dogs going into mouths. You're going to see some what looks like slime getting splat onto children's faces, if you know what I mean, blank shots. You're going to see little girls basically pouring water onto their shirts and it becoming essentially like a wet t-shirt contest. And they're not literally doing that, but that's what they're doing. And while they're doing that, they're making very sexually toned noises. And not only that, you're going to find out that there are certain character names from these children's shows that are actually named after body parts that most people don't know the definition of. But these disgusting, nasty adult humans that were in control of these sets, of these kids, of this programming, they thought it was funny. And Ben said something super valid to me when I started talking to him about this. He was like, so like SpongeBob. And I'm like, I so appreciate him bringing up that example because I think anybody who watches SpongeBob knows that that's a show for both adults and children. But to me, Ben, the difference is SpongeBob does not have any literal children on that show. I'm talking literal children being put in very sexual instances, being fed very sexual lines, and not even knowing what the heck they were saying. And not only that, Ben, you and me, we watched these shows growing up. I guarantee you're going to recognize an episode or 5 and you're going to be like, holy crap, I did not see it like that. And now I do. And I am disturbed. Like, it's very disturbing. So I do want to just be very, very clear on that. And I'm not dramatizing it. Trust me, when you watch it, I think you will also feel disturbed.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ben. What do you think?
No, honestly, I'm always disturbed when you find out something from your childhood you thought was so innocent turns out to be so dark, and that's just what kind of happens as you grow and evolve in life. Like once once upon a time you're a kid, you see everything as just being innocent. As you grow up and you form a new perspective and you go back and watch these old shows, cartoon shows, kids, children shows or whatever, you have a new perspective. And when you see the things that they do in this Nickelodeon documentary, you have to be like, damn, like I actually sat back and took 15 to 30 minutes out of my day each and every day to watch all that, or to watch a Ned Declassified, or to watch a Drake and Josh, to sit back and watch Zoe 101 and know that these kids were ultimately being groomed to be exploited for our own humor, for our own entertainment, and really ultimately the producer that people talk about each and every time, Dan Schneider, he played a big role in these kids being exploited to the extent that they were, including another producer, PA, whatever you want to call him, by the name of Josh Peck, who not only
No. Hold on. Brian Peck. Brian Peck. So Josh Peck.
My bad, Josh Peck. My bad, Josh Peck. Y'all been
and there's no
something.
Relation.
Okay.
No relation.
Right,
they
but
both happen to be named Peck.
But Brian Peck, who not only went to work for Nickelodeon and did the things that he did to Drake Bell, but went on to even go over to Zach and Cody. And I forget which twin it was, but either Zach or Cody came out and talked about how Brian Peck was already a known pedophile, and Disney still allowed him to work inside the studios with them. So with that being said, it brings a bigger question to point. In my honest opinion, we don't got that much time. With that being said, these producers who ultimately had these fetishes with children and these ideas that were completely adult ideas, but they decided to put these ideas down on children. How was this allowed, and was this the programming that Nickelodeon and even Disney wanted to happen so the next generation could ultimately be hypersexualized? I personally don't believe that we'd get a Sexy Red or an Ice Spice if it wasn't already okayed 10 years ago, 20 years ago through the eyes of children, a.k.a. us.
Well, and Ben, what's really sad? So it's not even just the kids that were victims. I think in the first episode, they talk about how on all that, they discovered Amanda Bynes when she was like 10 years old. She was a little mini stand-up comedian in LA, and they discovered her at the Laugh Factory. So the Amanda Show was hilarious. Or like the Dancing Lobsters, like all that. I mean, and then Drake's character, dude. Right. So like I washed my car, like all that. So funny, right? So funny.
Very funny.
These kids were being abused in the background and not telling their parents, Ben, because 90% of these children, if not more, that are working in Hollywood are supporting their entire family. Right. That little sweet little 8-year-old that you see on Jessie, I'm talking about Shy Jackson, I think is her name, the cute little black girl. She's adorable. She's been supporting her family since she was 5 years old. Zach and Cody, they've been supporting their family since they were 5 years old. And then what I was going to say, it's not just the kids that are victims. On the Amanda Show, which was, by the way, a first of its kind. It was a kid's show with a girl who was the lead, and she's a comedian. There had never been a show like that ever. It's amazing, right? It's revolutionary.
Sounds good on paper.
But then you got a room full of men who are writing that show for a girl, by the way. 2 women, exactly 2 women. And guess what, Ben? One of them got fired because there was an instance, and she says in the doc, where Dan Schneider told her to jokingly pretend like she was being, oh God, she was being sodomized. And she was, yes, correct. And but he told her to do that while playing a different character that was supposed to be a childlike friendly character. And she did it. But she was uncomfortable about it and would kind of go and talk to people like, was that weird that he made me do that?
Yeah.
And then she accidentally told on him because he was paying the 2 women writers the price of one person. So he was splitting one individual salary and giving that individual salary half each to each woman. And then all the men were making their own full salaries. So because these women spoke up and said, he's doing this, he's making us do that, he's saying that, he's paying us this, he fired them because they told on him. So little Mr. Dan Schneider, while he hasn't been accused of any sexual abuse, he's a monster. And people say he's part of the reason why Amanda Bynes is the way she is now, because
she's looking crazy.
Her.
Yeah, she's looking crazy.
I mean, but think about everything that they put those kids through, because it's not even just the parents, Ben. It's also the showrunners. When they realize that they strike a gold mine, when they've got an Amanda Bynes who's just an incredible talent, They run that to the ground.
Yeah,
man.
they exacerbated to the highest of highs. You know, they exploded to the highest
That's what
highs.
happened with. That's what happened with Judy Garland, who played Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. She was a kid in that movie, and
On
they
cocaine.
fed her cigarettes, they fed her coffee, and nothing else, because they say you're 16 years old and you look like a woman and you need to lose weight. So here go 2 packs of cigarettes and some coffee and some benzos. Figure it out. And then she died before she got to 50, and she looked like she was 80 when she died, because that's what Hollywood did to her. So yeah,
That's
it's
crazy.
a whole thing, and it's really disturbing, but it's good that we know this stuff. You know what I mean, Ben?
Yeah,
Like,
so-
I'm thankful that people aren't afraid to talk about it.
Right, so it doesn't happen in the future. I mean, in all honesty, with this whole Nickelodeon idea, I personally still want to hear from Kenan and Kel. I want to actually hear from like a Nick Cannon, because there were stories behind the whole Kel and Nick Cannon situation. People want to know if that actually really happened, and was it influenced at all by Nickelodeon? You know, I want to hear from these stars. I still want to hear from Amanda Bynes, because in my honest opinion, these are the stars that I was looking up to. But Truth Nation, call in, text in 833-212-1017. We want to hear from you. How y'all feeling about this Nickelodeon docuseries, if you will, that aired on the ID channel? You can see clips of it going around on Instagram.
It's also on HBO Max if you want to stream it.
HBO Max. I will go ahead and do that now. I do got Max and a Max subscription, okay? But no, Truth Nation, call in, text in. Let us know how y'all feeling about these kids ultimately being sodomized and exploited for entertainment. In all honesty, all these kids were exploited for entertainment, to all that cast, all these children. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and head to the lines, all right? Right now, we got Marlon on line 1. Marlon, what is your question or comment? And I will tell you right now, big fella, you got less than 30 seconds. What's going on?
Okay, yeah, real quick, my wife was watching this, so I happened to walk in on the second episode and watch the third. It was crazy to me, the stuff that was going on. The Dan Schneider, you know, everybody knows him from Head of the Class. At least I did. So I knew him from Head of the Class because he was one of the people on there. And then the fact that I was just wondering, like you just said, Kenan and Kel and Nick Cannon and, you know, a lot of the black people, what were their instances on there? But, you know, the ones at the end, they got fired and they were talking about all the racial stuff they went through, which was wild to me. So I just kind of let it go real quick because I know I only got 30 seconds. So.
No, I appreciate
Thank
that
you,
take, Marlon. Seriously. No, that's a good take.
Well,
Here,
sorry, I know we got to go, Ben. Just real quick, the reason why, to answer you and Marlon, I think the reason why Nick, Kel, and Kenan, they didn't want to be in it is because they're still making money. And I'm not saying they sold their souls, but I think they understand if we're in this, that
what
may
it can
hurt.
do to the brand.
Correct. You know, because there were black actors in that doc, but unfortunately, and it's no shade, it's the actors you haven't heard from in over 10 years. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only thing about it. But anyway, that being said, we are going to run to break. We'll wrap it up on the other side. Let us know what you think about this doc. It's called Quiet on Set. It's on HBO Max. Let us know your thoughts. 833-212-1017.
Don't touch that dial. Nothing But The Truth with Melanie Ricks will be right back on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.